There was no room for disagreement. For him, the representative selection wasn't a subject of discussion, but a presentation. Speak now if you have a complaint. There was no way to express dissatisfaction towards such a fearsome killing intent. The kings knew Yu Jung-hyuk's strength and trembled without even thinking about rebellion. Except for one person. Get lost! Move your feet! Unfortunately, the self-styled president of Yoido had never heard about the Supreme King. A politician was insensitive to rumors. Why did you suddenly appear? Lee Hyunsung screamed as his hand was crushed. My hand! My hand! Quack! Quack! Bodyguards! Where are my bodyguards? Yu Hyunho struggled for help, but there was no one here who could help him. Yu Jung-hyuk's feet pressed against his back, and soon after, Yu Hyunho found it hard to breathe and passed out. Once everything became calm, Yu Jung-hyuk opened his mouth. I didn't think so. Then I will announce the roster. The faces of the kings became tense. Yu Jung-hyuk was truly great. Taking the reins of power so easily? The kings quickly fell from the picking position to being picked. I grabbed a beef jerky from the table and waited for Yu Jung-hyuk's words. Min Ji-won stared blankly from next to me. How can you be so calm? I'm sorry, but I was in a different situation from them. It was because I was someone Yu Jung-hyuk recognized as a companion. He threatened me by saying that the oath was over, but he did acknowledge me. Yu Jung-hyuk opened his mouth. The first one will naturally be me. Well, it was obvious. How could he not be on a list created by himself? Behind Yu Jung-hyuk, the rest of his party members had appeared, Lee Ji-hee and Lee Sol-hwa. Lee Hyunsung and Jung Hee-won also looked inside with anxious eyes. In particular, Jung Hee-won was about to jump inside, and I stopped her with my eyes. Yu Jung-hyuk continued. The second person will be Lee Ji-hee. I thought the second one would be me, so I was naturally surprised. Well, I originally wasn't his companion, so his other party members might be disturbed if he called me first. He might look cold, but he looked after his people. I could understand that heart. Lee Ji-hee couldn't hide her joy as she smiled at me. Still, it was a bit annoying. The third is Lee Sol-hwa. Lee Sol-hwa nodded and came forward. Every time a person's name was called, the faces of the king darkened. They felt an ominous feeling. Yu Jung-hyuk's list was a fixed list. There are 7 people remaining. We still have a chance. The Supreme King only has 3 party members. He will have to choose other people. We are the strongest among the remaining people. I could tell by their faces what they were thinking. Me? Of course, I wasn't worried. I would naturally be on the list. Maybe I would be next? The fourth one is Lee Hyunsung. What? Lee Hyunsung became pale as his name was called. You mean me? Yu Jung-hyuk ignored the words and looked at the next person. The fifth is Jung Hee-won. It's me? Jung Hee-won's eyes widened with surprise. It was unexpected that he chose Jung Hee-won over me. This bastard was picking from my party? The sixth is Lee Gil-young. Uh-huh. Then Yu Jung-hyuk looked at Shin Yu-sung, who was next to Lee Gil-young. Shin Yu-sung hid behind Lee Gil-young with fearful eyes. The confused Lee Gil-young was stunned for a moment, but he stood in front of Shin Yu-sung like he made a decision. Yu Jung-hyuk looked down at the 2 children with an unknown look before turning his head away. Then, Yu Jung-hyuk's eyes finally stopped on me. Yes, it was finally my turn. Did he deliberately leave me till the end? As expected from a main character, he knew how to direct a show. You can take care of the rest. I coughed on the beef jerky. Yu Jung-hyuk looked around the tent before turning to leave, like there was no more work to be done. This was it, really? Then what about me? Why was he looking at me like that? I belatedly chased after him, but Yu Jung-hyuk was already gone. How long did I stand there? Jung Hee-won stood in the distance and asked me carefully, Weren't the 2 of you friendly? I thought so. The constellation, demon-like judge of fire, is laughing with delight. Lee Ji-hee also added in a strange tone, Ajashi, didn't you meet Master last night? I thought you would be first on the list. What do you mean? Last night, Master said he was going to see you. Last night? It was around 1 or 2 o'clock. Were you sleeping? I thought about the time. It was between 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I think it was just before I went to the underworld. I was awake at that time, but Yu Jung-hyuk didn't come. That's strange. He definitely went to find you. He was also a bit angry when he came back. Angry? You know that look Master makes when he's angry. Like he is contemptuous of a person. I pondered on the memories of that time. What was I doing right before I went to the underworld? Ah, yes. A memory came to mind. At that time, I was drinking with Hyunsung. Dionysus poured alcohol and made the atmosphere strange. Then, the constellation god of wine and ecstasy is making a playful expression. The constellation demon-like judge of fire is laughing with delight. 500 coins have been sponsored. I felt a bit complicated as I explained what happened. The party members looked surprised. Jung Hee-won stared at me with narrowed eyes. You kissed Yu Shang-asi? No, that's not it. What did you hear? Was it really Dionysus? You weren't pretending to be drunk. It was because of Dionysus and nothing happened. Jung Hee-won looked at me with suspicious eyes. Why was this brought up? Perhaps Yu Jung-hyuk saw it? That's why his mood is bad. Yu Jung-hyuk isn't that type of person. Even if Yu Jung-hyuk witnessed Deokshishi's kiss scene, I don't think there is a reason to feel angry. It wasn't a kiss. I grumbled it, and Lee Ji-hee exclaimed with a smile. Ah, I think I know. The constellation demon-like judge of fire says it is a comradeship. Jung Hee-won cocked her head. Comradeship? Lee Ji-hee dealt a big blow. What is Uni's sponsor? They think it's just comradeship? What do you mean? Comrades. I think I understand. Lee Hyunsung unexpectedly interrupted. Come to think of it, I would also feel offended if I saw Deoksha doing that. The constellation demon-like judge of fire has snorted at the unexpected remark. Yes, why would Hyunsung feel bad? Lee Ji-hee looked like she was about to have a nosebleed. Lee Hyunsung's expression was serious. I was nervous about what bombshell words Lee Hyunsung would say. We are risking our lives in every scenario. Yu Jung-hyuk trains his body every morning to prepare for the following scenarios. I train severely every day to protect his comrades. Huh? Lee Ji-hee made a strange expression at the unexpected answer. Jung Hee-won listened to Lee Hyunsung's words with a doubtful expression. If a comrade is blinded by sexual desire in such a situation, then I would be in a bad mood. I would also feel betrayed. Yu Jung-hyuk might not be a soldier, but he is a very austere person. Such a person would react sensitively when people aren't disciplined. It would feel like our comradeship is failing people. It makes sense, Jung Hee-won agreed. The constellation demon-like judge of fire is disappointed with her incarnation. The constellation demon-like judge of fire resents Lee Hyunsung's wrong comradeship. I heard Lee Hyunsung's words and thought it was true. A scene from Ways of Survival suddenly came to mind. I opened the text, searched Yu Jung-hyuk's third regression, and was able to find evidence. Pathetic person, you sell yourself to women with one glance. Those with strong sexual desires are excluded from my list of comrades. It's easy for them to make mistakes. It was really unfair if Yu Jung-hyuk had actually misunderstood me. It wasn't even a kiss. Damn, I couldn't tell him it was a misunderstanding now. Kim Deokcha? We want to pick the rest of the people. Min Ji-won suddenly approached me. I looked back and saw the other kids watching me. Kings. The Supreme King picked 6 people, and there are 4 spots remaining. We have to pick 4. Yoido's group had already been destroyed, and now there were 5 kings remaining. The Maitreya king, Cha Sang-hyung, noticed and opened his mouth first. There are only 4 spots, and the remaining people are... Why don't we decide it with a match? I was the one who gave the opinion. We will just be wasting time arguing among ourselves. Everyone wants to fill the spots with their own forces, so let's fight. The king who wins will decide the remaining spots. The kings glanced at each other with my words. A moment later, the reply was heard. Okay. Once again, the neutral king declared that he would abstain. I'll stay behind. Someone should stay here and lead the people. It was a wise choice. If they couldn't get ahead in this scenario, then it wasn't bad to build a power base here. In addition, people didn't know it yet, but there was a scenario for the incarnations left behind. The Dokubi who loved strong stimuli couldn't let the incarnations live peacefully. The King of Wanderers also raised her hand to express her intention to abstain. The other kings seemed surprised, but I thought I was fortunate that their competitors had reduced. Min Ji-won looked at me and declared confidently, "The same method as before won't work." Maybe she knew that I had won the absolute throne with my stockpile of coins. Did I seem that shallow? We exchanged blows. It took less than 5 minutes before the match was over. Who won? There was no need to ask. No way! I thought only the Supreme King was a monster. How did you become so strong? Cha Sang-kyung was bloody while Min Ji-won gasped as she spoke. Yes, it would have been easier if I had done this from the beginning. I shrugged and stated, The initial quota is 10 people, so everyone should wait. The second round will start soon. Ha! You use every means. Who will you take with me? One will be me, and she will be the other person. Shin Hyunsung's eyes brightened at my words. She had been worried about being left alone. The remaining two are... I'm thinking of someone. It isn't me? Yes, it isn't Min Ji-won. I see. Min Ji-won got up from the dusty ground. The depressed kings left their spots one by one. I gave a command to my party members. Please leave first. I need to do something. Meet me in front of the station later. The party members nodded and left the tent, the crowded interior becoming empty in an instant. After a bit more time, the only one person besides me was left in the tent. It was a masked woman. Then her mouth opened for the first time. It seems like you have many friends. I hesitated to the last moment. I didn't want to talk to this person. However, I needed to ask her for help to get the the person I needed in the next scenario. I took a deep breath before saying to the King of Wanderers, It has been a long time, Mother.